Welcome to the Country Hipster podcast, everyone. My name is Paul. I am the Country Hipster. That music you just heard was none other than the Unholy Four from Charlottesville, Virginia, and their mega hit song made famous by the Country Hipster podcast, Dirty Knife. Check out the Unholy Four on Bandcamp, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music. I think they have some YouTube out there, wherever you can find the Unholy Four. We just finished up season one, and so there's going to be a couple weeks before season two actually hits as a regular, weekly thing. So we wanted to give you a little bit of bonus content here. So that's what we're doing here. We'll do a little recap season one, and then do a little bit of give you a little something to wet your whistle with from the Country Hipster and the Country Hipster podcast over the next couple weeks until we're ready for season two to really get going. But as we always do, the business on the Country Hipster podcast, and I know like a camera keeps shaking, I'm one of the worst. Friday, 6/21, I will be playing solo at Marty McGee's in Delco in Prospect Park in Delaware County. Sunday, the 23rd, I will be playing with the Birmingham Six, and it'll probably be the last time you see the Birmingham Six for quite some time because we don't get a whole lot of shows during the summer. But we are playing Celtic Day on the waterfront in Bristol, right by the Bristol Riverside Theater. We play on the gazebo there. We're playing with No Irish Need Apply, and the Shanties will also be playing. And there's a bunch of vendors and stuff like that. And that's like an all-day event on Sunday, June 23rd, Celtic Day in Bristol, PA. So definitely worth checking out. And then, I'm going to get a little bit ahead because Friday, the 28th, I will be playing at New Deck. Not solo, but with Megan from the Natterjacks. She was also our guest on the Random Record episode of the Goo Goo Dolls, Dizzy Up the Girl. So she and I are playing together at New Deck in University City in Philadelphia on the Friday, the 28th. I think we start around like 7 o'clock or so, or 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that. I don't know. But just, check it out. It should be a good time. So like I said, we did just finish up season one, and we're getting ready to start season two. So first of all, thank you, all of the listeners, and of course anybody who's subscribed to the either on whatever platform you subscribed on, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Castbox, Pandora Podcast, whatever, wherever you are, whatever you subscribe to, whatever you follow us on. Thank you so much for that, because without your support, we wouldn't be able to do this, which actually isn't true. Without your support, we'd probably still do this and just be doing it to nobody. But and we're not monetized, so it's not like you're paying us anything either, but that's okay because we like doing it. And honestly, the feedback we've gotten from people, I definitely appreciate all of the feedback and the comments people have left, even if some of them are like 3 pages long of a comment that really was unnecessary. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the comments of on YouTube, specifically of the Taylor Swift folklore episode, and you will know what I'm talking about by extra long comments. Also, I got to say thank you to all of our guests who have come on. Jesus Christ, I really wish I could read my writing. Oh yeah, but no, all of our guests who have come on, just most of them are my friends. So I'm like, hey, do you want to do this? Some of them were like, this sounds stupid, but sure. And some of them were like, this sounds really cool, and yeah, I'll do it. And some of them are like, sure, I got nothing else to do on a Sunday night or a Monday night or whatever. Why the hell not? So no, thank you. And especially thank you to our celebrity guest. I say that with quotes, because they came on our podcast. How big of celebrities can they be? But especially Rick Barton from the Rick Barton Band and Continental, and formerly the Dropkick Murphys. And especially Dan and Lorna from Skinny Lister, who let us, let's do that interview with them in the Skinny Lister episode, and it was a good time. So thank you to everyone who needs to be said thank you to. So we had 64 episodes in season one, and 14 of them ended up being some sort of random episode or extra episode, like the Christmas episode, and then the interview with Rick Barton, and just a couple things, which is cool. Originally, when we set this out, we just figured maybe it'd be just over a year that we do it. It turned out to be a year and 3 months of recording. May, June. Yeah, a year, just short of or just over a year and 3 months of recording. So it's at like 15 months. And Regina is at the time I'm doing is 18 months. So, that gives you an idea of how much it's grown over that year and a half almost. And we really didn't think it was gonna, we would end up with 14 extra episodes or whatever. We figured, we'd probably be close to that year mark, but shit happens, scheduling happens. We learned a lot from it, and it was really cool, and it was really good experience, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And I'm looking forward to season 2 and beyond that. One of my favorite segments on the episodes was our when we talked about the songs. We did our top 3 songs and then our one least favorite. That really, I don't know, I just like that. I like that that portion of it. It was always cool to hear, especially when we guessed like that weren't, that wasn't just Adam. It was always cool to hear like just how did different people take the album differently. And I know that a lot of times there was something that would be someone's least favorite that was maybe my favorite or vice versa. And I always thought that was cool. So what Adam and I decided to do here, kind of in the spirit of the podcast, is we're going to do our 3 favorite albums and then our least favorite, but we're going to look at each other's 25 albums. So I'm going to do my 3 favorite of Adam's albums that we've covered and my 1 least favorite. And then Adam will be doing his next week. That'll be next week's bonus episode there for you. We're trying to keep it a little bit shorter, not the normal like hour and a half that we usually hit you guys with. Or so, we're just under averaging just under an hour and a half. So just to get it out of the way, because I'm sure everybody can figure it out, I'm going to do my least favorite first. Usually we do that. We do our 3 favorite songs and then our least favorite, but I'm going to do my least favorite album first, just to get it out of the way. And it should come as no surprise to anybody. It is Say Anything Is a Real Boy. I can't even with this album. That's the only way I said it. I can't even with this album. It's like, I don't like it. It sounds fake. There's like nothing that I can identify with it. It's just for me, it's not good. I can't even bring myself to listen to it again just to give it another shot and to see if I like it. It's just it's to me, it's like drinking too much Southern Comfort or tequila in a night when you're younger and you get like really fucked up on it and you're like, oh my God, like it's like the best night, but also the worst night ever. And to the point where like if people even talk about it now, like SoCo specifically with me, sometimes if people even talk about it, I gag a little bit, and it's not good. And that's what this album is to me. This album is like SoCo, like a night of bad drinking on SoCo. So that's my least favorite album of all of Adam's 25. Even though I kept saying throughout the whole from episode 13 on, fucking Steel Train. That had to do with the value, because I just did not expect that album's not a bad album. I didn't like it. I didn't like the Steel Train album. I wouldn't even give it a dishonorable mention on this. If I was doing a dishonorable mention for albums, it'd probably be the White Stripes' Deja Still, or however you say it. But even that is not as bad as Say Anything Is a Real Boy. It's just, I just can't do it. I can't do it. So on to my 3 favorite albums from Adams, and one of them, I think you guys, if you've been listening, especially to the stuff that I've liked or disliked, I think you'll be somewhat surprised about. But I'm going to go number 1. This shouldn't be a surprise. My favorite album of Adams 25 is Interpol, Turn on the Bright Lights. This album surprised the fuck out of me. I didn't really know a whole lot about Interpol. I'd heard a couple things, didn't really know much about them, but this is an album that's just dark and bassy and beautiful, and I know it has this like whole like hipster vibe to it, and I don't really get that from this album. I mean, I just don't. It's a good album. It's like one of those albums where you feel the bass and you want to play it loud, or you play it in your car and you just have it, and you walk out of your car and your ears are fucking ringing because it was like so bassy and you had it so loud. But like, this is an album you listen to loud. It's a great album, like to the point where like I could not pick a least favorite song on the album. It's also one of the great thing about this album. One of the great things about this album is that it makes me want to look into more Interpol and listen to more of their stuff. Their lyrics are good on this album. Just the album in general is just so good. And to show it one more time, Interpol, Turn on the Bright Lights is my number one of Adam's picks. Number two, my second favorite, kind of is like, it was like a fungus album for me, because at first I'm like, man, I don't think I like this. I'm not sure if no, but I didn't hate it. I just didn't think that I liked it. And I listened to it again and I'm like, man, I thought that song was by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, but it's not. And then I listened to it again, and then I eventually messaged my my friend and the record setting guest of the Country Hipster podcast, Kristen. I was just like, I think I like Vampire Weekend. And she was like, yeah, you do. She knows my musical taste. We have very, what's funny with Kristen and I, we have very similar yet very different musical tastes. There's certain things that she loves that I can't stand, and vice versa. But overall, when, it's like, if you go through the arc, like we meet somewhere in the middle there with our musical taste, and it's usually pretty good. So that's why I was like, yeah, really, I think I like them. She's like, yeah, you do. And that's this album, man. Vampire Weekend. This album surprised the hell out of me. It's a really good album. It's a fun album. I look forward to listening to more Vampire Weekend. I know they just had a new album come out that I have not listened to yet. But I know I also need to like listen to Contra. Contra is supposed to be a really good album by them too. And I haven't, just because we've been so caught up in like every week doing a different album, listen to a different album, I haven't gotten a chance to go back and really listen to the stuff that I want to explore more. But this is one of them, and definitely like Oxford Comma absolutely becomes one of like my favorite songs. A-Punk's fun, just this album in Walcott is a great song. This album is just so good and so fun and just so listenable too. And just, like I don't think I'm exaggerating by saying that like in the week that we were listening to Vampire Weekend, I listened to it 20 times. And I know there were a few other times like where we had like a 2-week gap between episodes, just because of scheduling, where like, I get tired of whatever we're listening to for the podcast, and I've gone back and like thrown on Vampire Weekend again. But again, I still haven't had a chance to really delve into their further catalog. But it's it's a great album. That's my number two, which brings me to my number three, which this is the one that I think will surprise people, that this is my number three, because honestly, this album surprised the fuck out of me. We went into the episode of the album I'm about to talk about. I was very skeptical when I saw the album in Adams 25 before we even started recording. I was like, oh God, I can't believe we have to listen to this. And, I don't like Blink 182. And I thought this was going to be basically Blink 182 with a different name, but it was not. There's so much more to this album. Boxcar Racer. That's my number three. It starts off the way that I expected, very, very Blink 182 with I Feel So. But this was an album that definitely, as the album goes on, the songs mature, the songs grow, the sound grows, the album gets so much better from the crappy song I Feel So, and it just grows. Every song gets better on this and gets more cohesive and gets less Blink 182, which I think is the thing I like. Even though you can hear the dude's voice, but like he does a great job. The recording of that album is great. The instrumentation is great. The songwriting is great. And it's just, it really was. It was a song that I was like, and I think that's why it definitely ended up and should rightfully so end up on my three, because there's definitely albums that might on Adams 25 that I might consider are better albums than Boxcar Racer. But my reaction to Boxcar Racer based on my expectations and then what I got and how I felt about it, that's why I think it definitely should be on my top 3 favorites there, because it really had me thinking one way about how this was going to go, and then you know midway through the week between episodes, it flipped on me. The album flipped on me, and my thoughts about it, my mindset, my predetermined thoughts on it were just like, nah, man, you're wrong. This is a really good album. These are really good songs. And I know there's some rumor that they might be coming back and doing another album or a tour or something like that. Who knows whether they do or they don't. I will say that I liked this album enough that if they did decide to tour and tickets weren't stupid, crazy, fucking expensive, I'd probably go check it out. Because it was cool. It was cool. I enjoyed it. So that's it. That's my top 3 and my least favorite of Adam's 25 records from season 1. Obviously we're not including any random records or special episodes such as the Christmas episode in that. But of our original, the 50 albums and 50 episodes that season 1 was supposed to be before we decided to define the meaning of what a season is. Those were definitely my top 3. And like I said, it's just really good albums, an album that of a band that I really needed to, I think I needed to discover and should have discovered sooner. And then a band that just the album just surprised the hell out of me. And that was good. So I'm looking forward to season 2. I hope you are as well. We definitely have some cool stuff planned. We got some great records that we've already picked to talk about. One of the things that we were doing for a lot of season 1 was in the comments on our Spotify, which we do. We have comments on our comment section on Spotify, and we also have a poll, so you can leave comments there. And of course, on YouTube, you can also comment on the episode as well. But one of the things that we asked was for the call them customers. You guys aren't customers, you're listeners. I mean, hopefully you're customers of the Outsville Record Garage. But if you're not, hopefully you're a listener of the Country Hipster podcast, which if you're hearing this, you are. So thank you. But one of the things we asked listeners to do on some of the polls or some of the questionnaires was, what albums would you like us to talk about in season 2? And when we got up to about 10 albums, we were like, okay, here's what we're going to do for season 2. And we have 10 different albums from listeners. It's not 10 different listeners because, especially early on, and by the time we stop taking the requests, our viewership has grown. So we'll probably do a similar thing for season 3. So hopefully we'll get, multiple, 10 different people, but we still have a decent amount of really different albums on season 2 that we're going to be talking about from the listeners aspect. And then, instead of doing 25 each of me and Adam, we're doing 10 of my albums, 10 of Adam's albums. We'll have 10 of the listeners' albums. And then we are actually picking at random. We're having Tom, the official bartender of the Country Hipster podcast and the Outsville Record Garage. He's actually going to be picking 5 of just whatever records he wants to make drinks for from the Booze and Vinyl Volume 1 and Volume 2. So that's going to be included. So it's going to be a total. And then 35 episodes. Plus, we do plan on doing a Christmas episode again. So we'll have 36 episodes for you. So a bit shorter than season 1. But if we plan everything right, we do it the way we want to. We'll have new episodes for you every week, straight through till March, I believe. So that'll be cool. March 25 will hopefully, or should be, the end of season 2 there. And like I said, we're trying to make the podcast better. So if there's anything you want us to talk about, anything you want to hear us talk about, any suggestions you can make for segments, or segments that segments you don't like that we're already doing that you'd like us to remove, let us know. Drop it in the comments. Follow us on Instagram. Let us know on there. DM us on Instagram or on Facebook. you can even email me at info@ottsvillerecordgarage.com. I'll get your message there, and let us know what you think. There's a new segment we're putting on. I don't want to say too much about it. We just kind of came up with it last night, so I don't want to get too into it. But it should be cool. It's not going to be like a weekly segment. It's going to be more like a monthly segment. We're going to do it every few episodes, but I think that'll be a lot of fun too. Yeah, so that's it. Once again, thank you so much for listening to all of our guests. Thank you for being on, and hopefully you guys like it, and you liked season 1. If you're behind, well, you have a couple weeks to get caught up before season 2 comes up. So that'll be fun. That'll be great. And yeah, that's all I got. I'm not even going to give you the whole move on thing on this one here because this is bonus content. It's obviously a much shorter episode. But my name's Paul. Next week is my brother Adam, the country brother. I'm just going to call him the country brother because I can't think of anything clever, which I never do. I just kind of make shit up and I think it's clever, and it's probably not, but whatever. So he'll be doing his top 3 and then 1 least favorite, and then we'll have another bonus episode for you after that. And then I think we're going to get into season 2. I think we'll start posting the episodes of season 2. And yeah, so that's all I got for you today. Thank you for listening to me ramble a little bit about my favorite albums and about season 1. And yeah, that's it. I will talk to you soon.